Hi, this is Nick Dawson from Talkhouse, and you're listening to the latest episode of Nobody's Ever Asked Me That. It's the spin-off series of the Talkhouse podcast, where I talk to filmmakers, musicians, comedians, and writers, and ask them questions they've never heard before in an interview, in an effort to discover a different side of them and understand them better. Today, my guest is comedian John Early, whose excellent new movie Maddie's Secret, which he wrote, directed, and stars in, is now in theaters. I love those moments where my conception of who an artist is radically changes. For me, that happened with John Early a few months back when I first saw Maddie's Secret. Prior to that point, I knew Early from social media, chat show appearances, shows like Search Party, and movies such as Stress Musicians and Beatrice at Dinner. His comedic persona was heightened, absurdist, ironic, and often self-deprecating, and he was always extremely fun to watch in whatever I saw him in. But in retrospect, because Early's characters tended to be big and self-consciously kind of self-involved, I realized I fell into the trap of simplistically misunderstanding who he was and what he did. As a result, Maddie's Secret surprised me in the best way. In the film, Early plays the title role, a young woman who's plucked from obscurity to be a food influencer, a twist of fate that triggers an old eating disorder. For all that Maddie's Secret has comedic beats, it's first and foremost Early's loving personal take on old movies of the week and female-centric melodramas. It's a film of genuine depth that treats its characters and subject matter with the utmost respect, and it's sincere and, dare I say, even earnest in a way that feels extremely refreshing in this moment. As a performer, Early utterly embodies Maddie, making her feel fully rounded and true, and as a writer-director, he is impressively assured in his stylistic vision and his storytelling. In preparation for my chat with Early, I visited and or revisited a bunch of Early's work, including his 2023 stand-up special Now More Than Ever and his 2022 skit-driven hour Would It Kill You to Laugh, made with his longtime best friend and creative collaborator, Kate Berlant. Berlant leads a stellar supporting cast in Maddie's Secret that also features Conor O'Malley, Claudia O'Doherty, Kristen Johnson, and Vanessa Bayer. I got to chat with Early on the day Maddie's Secret hit theaters and had an engrossing and often very funny conversation with him that touched on my favorite anagram of all time and its deep relevance to his life, the pros and cons of death by Anvil, why his shoes are his superego, falling in friend love with Kate Berlant, the specific confluence of things that put him in a blissed-out golden retriever mood, his tornado dreams around the premieres of Maddie's Secret, and much, much more. So, let's get started. It's funny, when I found out we were going to get to chat, this is very weird, but like the first thing that came to mind is that you are uniquely positioned to... So years and years ago, I learned probably to me the most pleasing anagram of all time, which is that there's a perfect anagram of Presbyterians. Do you know this?
No.
The perfect anagram of Presbyterians is Britney Spears. So yeah, when I found out that we were going to be talking, I was like, John really has to know this in case he doesn't already.
There's not a single leftover letter.
No, it is a truly perfect anagram.
Oh my God. I'm in shock. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Yeah, I figured if there's nothing else that you can take away from today, there's that.
Yeah.
So
that would be enough.
That's good. That's good. Well, hopefully we can build on it a little bit, but
yeah,
if I only am ever going to be like the asshole who told me about that anagram, then, I'm honestly fine with it.
You should. You've provided a great service, and I think that that's very profound. I mean,
it is.
It's crazy, and it feels, if we could be reduced to data, which we of course cannot be, but they would like us to think we can. You would find that kind of anagram would be like the kind of base code of my essence.
Right. Well, for anybody who doesn't know, can you explain the place that those two component parts play in your life?
Yes. Well, my parents are both Presbyterian ministers, not full-time anymore, but when I was a kid, they were. And, I grew up going to a Presbyterian church. I went to Presbyterian church camp. I couldn't tell you a single thing about what distinguishes Presbyterianism from the other Protestant denominations, which is just to say two things. I didn't pay attention. But also, the church I went to was very gentle and in a good way. It didn't inspire any sort of like terror to make me learn what
Mm-hmm.
the hell they were talking about. But it also didn't inspire much desire to learn anything that they
Right.
were talking about. And then Britney Spears, I'm an American who was, I mean, she was obviously a global pop star, but there's something
Mm-hmm.
fundamentally very American about her. And
Very much so.
I loved her a lot when I was a kid. Like everyone else my age, I didn't have, I would say, like some sort of exceptional fandom over her, but I really loved her and I watched with horror as I got older. And I don't know, she was like our Judy Garland, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just so sad. And I perform songs in my live shows, which feels like it's been 1,000 years since I've done that, but I do that. Did someone say doo-doo? And I often sing a Britney Spears song. I mean, that used to be my like kind of calling card. You could hardly call it stand-up comedy, but I used to do a little kind of Britney Spears impression in my stand-up. And then it started kind of building out into like doing full covers with like a full band.
Mm-hmm.
But I love her deeply.
Yeah. And your overprotected is very, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's Southern, and I'm Southern. So, like, that also feels like the kind of missing third piece of this anagram is like Southern American Protestantism, like Britney Spears, Presbyterian. Like, yeah,
Yep.
crawfish.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to have to find a perfect anagram of that, but
Yeah,
that's for another time.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're going to dot all over the map and come back to the film a lot, I suspect, but
Great. Well, and can I just say quickly, I'll do the first connection,
yeah,
is that I was really thrilled to call the hospital in my movie Presbyterian
I
Hospital.
noticed that. I noticed that.
That always tickles me every time I hear the beautiful Chris Bauer say that. To me, it feels like John's secret. I don't know. It doesn't seem to really move anyone but me, but I love it.
Yeah, I rewatched it just this morning. I saw it a couple months ago, and that was when it first grabbed me. But I think I missed the Presbyterians' little Easter egg, I guess, the first time, and then the second time I was like, okay, yeah, that is not a coincidence by any
No,
means. When was the last time you stayed up all night?
I think I know exactly what it was. It was when I packed up my house to get it ready for subletters for when I was coming to this big trip that is coming to an end in a couple days, and I'm feeling extremely depressed about it. But I came to New York to do the Wallace Shawn play, What We Did Before Our Moth Days, in January, and so I got subletters and I just I never went to bed, and it was kind of psychedelic.
I feel like when you're doing that thing of packing up to leave, you always think you're nearly done,
No.
and then you're nearly done for about 7 to 10 hours.
Completely. And I think it's so odd the way that I think about this every time this happens. The way that you will fill any time given. Like if you're somewhere in your consciousness, you know
Hmm.
that you have to leave the house at 6:10 a.m.
Hmm.
to get to the flight on time. Like, at least for me, there's no world in which I'm finishing at 11 p.m. or even 3 a.m.
Hmm.
I will find some way, never consciously, I will find some way to stretch it out all the way to 6:10. And I'm doing the very last thing at 6:10.
There's a thing called Parkinson's law that states that work expands to fill the time allotted to complete it.
Oh my God.
Like I remember I once had a 3-month research trip
Yeah.
in LA, but this is years and years ago. And I basically had like hundreds and hundreds of boxes of like research papers to go through.
Yeah.
And I finished it like, with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah. Terrifying.
So it's like, I was like, okay, it's real.
Yeah, it's totally real. And that's the hell of contemporary life is like no one's in an office anymore. Everyone's a freelancer.
Hmm.
It's like it's all become so diffuse. Even walking on the street, I mean, because we have phones, we're just like kind of always working. It's just expanding into I find that it's one of the most depressing things in the world to me that like any little walk I take to get a coffee, to go to the subway, it's like I will get something done on my phone.
Hmm.
Like this is a good time to just kind of knock out that email. And then of course I get hit by a car, I run into someone.
Right. Yeah. And it's like not really the way that we want to go.
No.
I guess on that note, like what would be the most sort of fabulous way to go? Because I sort of catastrophize about my own death, but I
Mm,
try not to romanticize it too much.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't think about it that much, but I would certainly love to go just quite swiftly
Hmm.
for my own. But and yet, maybe I don't want that. Maybe I do actually want to know that I'm dying for quite some time, so I have the kind of those, profound conversations. But wouldn't it be hell if you knew you were dying, if you were terminally ill for a few years and then you didn't have the conversations? You avoided it all. You never got around to it. You never said the things. And so I think I'd rather get just, an anvil would would drop off a building and crush me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that part a lot about the sudden death versus like having the time to process it. I guess I think about it from the point of view of like, I think I want that time for me to understand what's happening, but also like hopefully to avoid the other people in my life having that abruptness of and trauma of
Yes.
my own death.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Because the anvil's like really easy for me, probably, especially if I don't feel anything.
Yes, and it's up. A bus you might actually see. You might
Yeah.
actually have like a second of like, oh no. But an anvil, you just
Yeah.
really don't know what's gonna hit you. That's what I love about Death by Anvil.
Yeah. So you were saying about those conversations. Are you somebody who can have those sort of difficult or just those direct conversations addressing the stuff that maybe hasn't been addressed, or do you always get ahead of that like anyway?
I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. In some ways, I made a movie about this. So, like, I think Maddie, she's kind of cagey,
Hmm.
And I don't think that's just a result of the eating disorder and the kind of hiding that it requires. I think it's like kind of built in. And I certainly relate to that. These are very kind of Southern Protestant modes.
Hmm.
But like it's a little it's church talk. It's like smiley church talk.
Hmm.
And it's scary. It's scary to get to the hard conversations. But I'm getting better slowly.
Yeah. I watched Would It Kill You to Laugh recently as
Mm-hmm.
well. And there is a moment where, I guess, let's not say you, but like a version of you
Mm-hmm.
is with Kate, and she's saying like, "Why are you so scared?" And you say, I'm worried that people are going to see me."
Is this the one where she's hitting on me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're looking in the mirror. She's behind you. She's
Wow.
talking to you,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
that, along with Maddie, who's also very very afraid of people seeing her,
Yeah.
and Maddie, like the film feels so sincere and so personal.
Yeah.
It would be very easy for me to be like, well, John's character in this is saying that they're afraid of being seen, and in this, the same thing. So, like, this is an undercurrent. But,
Well, I'm sure there is some truth to it because why else would it pop up in this way? But I can't say I really understand it. I mean, I do know that there's obviously what's funny about it, what's kind of contradictory about it is that when you're someone who makes things, there's like a compulsive need to be seen that's like
mhm.
totally perverted by social media. But I'm in this moment right now which always happens to me when I'm promoting something where I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel like overexposed." And I don't even mean on like a kind of press cycle that like if there's too much, people are sick of me. I just mean like I mean, although I do think that's true. More just feel it in a kind of a psychological way. I feel like, what is this? And I had moments making this movie where I was like, what are you doing? What is this? Because like there were moments when to me it felt just like so fun. The idea felt so fun. And like this doing something in this kind of emotional pitch and in this style and making it in this very kind of lo-fi way with my friends, all of whom, including myself, are amateurs, like, it felt really fun and that remains true. But then there were times where like I would kind of catch up to what I was doing and I would like look at it and be like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
this feels so revealing in ways that are hard to even explain because it's so indirect. Like it's on paper, it's so not my life and it's not who I am. But it did feel like emotionally very revealing in some way. And so I guess if it is true that I fear being seen, I certainly have some sort of compulsion to be seen at the same time, because I clearly do this as I think any artist does. You do it kind of unconsciously. Your brain finds ways to justify, to trick you into doing things like oh like in this case I was like, this is a kind of stylistic experiment, this is a tonal experiment, and then before I know it I'm like, this is something else is going on here.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't really know, I guess, is my short answer.
I think that's probably the only answer in a way.
Really, to every question. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is a weird one, but I've started asking people this and I think it's interesting. Somebody once told me that you can tell a lot about somebody from their shoes. What do your shoes say about you?
This is a great question. I don't know if I'll have a great answer, but I'm excited to try. Okay. Well, my favorite pair of shoes, I mean, I have them right here, but if I stand up, all will be revealed. That,
Yep.
in other words, I'm not wearing pants. So, so I have these J.M. Weston shoes that are just like kind of very classic men's dress shoes, but they're not pointy, they're not sharp. There's something kind of humble about them, though you wouldn't know it by the price. But they're like a kind of almost like a black and blue like leather, and they have a little, the top of the shoe has like a little round stitching. There's something about the shape of them that I just find very humble. And I think they're so beautifully made. I don't know. I love them. I wore them for a long time. Now I love them so much that I'm scared to wear them. But what do they say about me is I think that there is a little, for as brash and as as I am, or in my artwork, if you can call it that, like
Definitely.
thank you. I think that there is a kind of, in the way that I dress, there's maybe some sort of counteracting or compensating kind of smallness, or like it's like my shoes are my superego. Like they're like reining me back in. They're like keeping me humble or something. Like I don't like fancy shoes.
Hmm.
So, they're a little preppy, maybe a little, they also just like, I wear them till they are completely ragged. This is true about all my clothes. I don't replenish.
Mm.
I wear clothes till like, I mean, I've had the same underwear for years. Years. The same sock. I wear socks till they are disintegrating off of my feet.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. It's just, I hate shopping so much. But what else I think there might be something else about my shoes.
So you don't like buy 3 pairs of these shoes that you love. It's just going to be like when they're done, and you find another thing that you love.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
When was the first time that you made something that you're proud of? It could be just like you're 5 years old and it's a drawing, or it's a short story, or it's a little play. What was the first thing that made you feel like you'd made something?
Well, there are definitely little things along the way. There are little drawings and short stories, but I would say like the most kind of potent form of pride I had was this short film I made probably in 2012, 2011 actually,
Mm-hmm.
with my roommate who is also a filmmaker, named Steve Gerard. It's very connected to Maddie's Secret, which I don't say out of any sort of promotional
Yeah.
needs. I played a woman. I played a substitute teacher who is reading a book, a children's book about a pickle, to a group of children. And it's like 4 minutes long. It's very strange. To me, I thought it was very narratively clear, but it's really not when you look at it now. It's like most things I've made, it's a total kind of rip off of Lisa Kudrow in The Comeback. It's like a nervous woman. But it was significant because it was the first time I ever was kind of taking myself seriously as a filmmaker. And I had a very, very emotional response to seeing the footage
Mm-hmm.
for the first time. And that's why I chose this, because it really was kind of a life-changing experience of realizing like, oh, I could put myself on film and the camera can pick up on little flickers of emotion, and I can do this. I don't know. It was the first time I experimented with this thing that the movie is doing, and then I've done in other ways over the years, of like playing a woman but not in a kind of like super exaggerated way, and like trying to go for like visual, like actual realism, like pulling off an illusion. And that felt like extremely powerful to me. And I was like, I don't know, it was very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Brit and I grew up with like this comedic tradition of like incredibly heightened cross-dressing from Monty Python. I mean, like
Yeah.
everybody wants to do it, but I
Yeah.
think that doing what you're doing of having it feel real and having it be sincere is like so difficult and so daring, and it's really exciting to see it when it happens and you pull it off so beautifully in the film as well.
Thank you. Well, you know how I love, I mean, my idols are French and Saunders.
I've read about it, yeah.
And
that makes perfect sense in retrospect when I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. And their sketches, I think, are so, I mean, they're obviously, there's a wide range of like the kinds of sketches they do, but they occasionally do these like things that are more like short films. I mean, I think both of them are they're so silly, but they're both capable of real like smallness and realism. And there's like such a tenderness to a lot of what they're doing. And yeah, sometimes they really just feel like these kind of lush little short films. And they were very inspiring to me. I just had to mention them because you said you're British.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely sort of thinking about like the dynamic that you have with Kate and then the French and Saunders vibe, it feels like there's a lot of commonality there in sort of the best way.
Yeah.
Wait, so who introduced French and Saunders to who? You to Kate or vice versa?
Me to Kate. I never really hooked her. I mean, she loves it, and she like I've like forced her to watch Ab Fab, and she totally loves it. But it's like the way that your heart is opened as a child when you can just watch things for hours and hours. It's hard to replicate that in like, you know, your 30s with someone. Yeah. She totally appreciates it, but I've kind of forced her at gunpoint to watch it.
Yeah, that's friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but I'm big on catastrophizing. I'm wondering like what makes you catastrophize, what makes you spiral, what are the things that like put you in a tailspin?
It's kind of something I've already talked about. It's just this feeling of like overexposure. Like there's some sort of mechanism in me that in the daytime can move stuff forward. I'm lucky in that way. I can like be filled with a certain kind of confidence, a brazen confidence. Like, no, we're doing it. No, I am playing a woman, and it is about an eating disorder, and what of it? And we're doing it, and let's go. And we're actually doing it in February, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a long enough stretch during the day. It is kind of like a werewolf quality. Like, it's like when there's daylight, I can be very impassioned and full of a kind of like artistic clarity, and then I get in bed at night and I start to go, you psycho. I'm like, what are you doing? And I think back to the emails and I'm like, there were so many exclamation points in that email. That was crazy. Like, why did you have to write that one sentence in all caps? Like, what are you doing? And then I just get very scared. I get very scared of all the things that I've put in motion, and I can really, really spiral. I mean, it might be totally vague. The fears might not be specific, but there is just this sudden feeling of like wanting to pack it all up, turn the car around, like move to the woods, live a quiet monastic life. Like, why are you doing any of this, you fucking freak? That's what I spiral about, is like this kind of compulsive need to reveal or subject people to whatever my personal like fixations are. It can feel incredibly insane artistically to feel like your compulsions, your fixations, your perversion, like that these things are worthy of anyone's attention, you know? And at night I spiral about that. I'm like, what are you doing? Just pack it up. This is so insane. Go be a teacher.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like to make any art, there needs to be a sort of prolonged period of self-delusion, or else you wouldn't ever make it.
It doesn't come out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also, like, if you don't find those people who believe in what you're doing for a film, you're never going to get it made anyway.
Totally.
So, wait, okay, so you touched on something that I worry about in my own life. How many exclamation points is too many? and do you space them out, or is it like 6 in a row?
I don't... Oh, no, I mean 6 in a row.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of one sentence, there's like tons. And no, it's both. I worry about how many I put at the end of a sentence, and I worry about how many sentences ended with a lot of exclamation points. And I'm just like, what is this tone? Like, why does everything have to go up?
Yeah.
It feels so hostile.
That's, for me, like, I feel like the tone I'm going for is like cheerful, unthreatening person.
Same. Yeah. And there's like sort of an irony to it when I'm doing it, at least in my mind, that makes it seem kind of funny. And can you believe how enthusiastic I don't know, but no, that is it. It's like, don't worry about me.
Exactly. Can you tell me the story of when you first fell in love?
Oh, oh God. When was that, would you say? Um, I mean, look, I can tell you in a safer way, I can tell you about it as it happened with Kate, which was like a first love. I mean, it was very intense and it was like extremely romantic, and we knew it was romantic. It's not something in retrospect that we have been like, God, that was kind of like falling in love. We knew it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess what distinguishes it from other forms of attraction or compatibility is like there was such a kind of mutual desire to be together and spend time together that was not there was no questioning on either side of like, does she want to hang out? Or we both just like, it was like the dam broke immediately, and we there was no period of like politeness or like subtle courting. It was just like instant. We wanted to hang out every second. And what was really very sweet about it was that we were doing that thing you do when you fall in love, where you're like, okay, you're gonna meet my friend, or like you're gonna
Yeah.
meet this very important figure in my life. And like we literally, like, she came to Nashville with me within a month
Wow.
of becoming friends.
Wow.
And she met my parents, and we drove to North Carolina together, and I met her very dear family friend, and we just did this kind of like friendship tour. And then I went to LA and I met her parents, which is just so sweet. And I also know the feeling where you're kind of introducing someone and you're unsure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a certain kind of hell, is like, yeah, no, this is so and so, and yeah, it's like a kind of nervous hell. And like with Kate, it wasn't like that, because we were just having the time of our lives. Yeah, it was very sweet. I mean, and I even remember, last detail, I remember like walking my dog with my mom when I was visiting Nashville, and like literally finding myself talking about Kate's like smile.
Yeah, that's delightful.
And I was like, okay, I swear to God, I'm gay. I mean, there was, thankfully no confusion with Kate. There was complete safety because there was no, physical attraction. But like,
I think there's sometimes a thing when you fall in love with somebody and people are like, "You're crazy," or like, "This is so intense."
yeah,
Like, what are you
yeah.
guys doing? Like, is this wise?
Yes, yes, totally. It's very Douglas Sirk-y. It's like the kind of judgmental, repressive town watching you kind of step out of polite society to like do this crazy thing. Yeah, totally. It felt like we were stepping outside of like whatever the kind of normal lives we had been living, and we were like cheating time or something, and it was crazy.
It's funny when I was watching the scene we were talking about before, where Kate is hitting on you and Would It Kill You to Laugh?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, in the background there's like All That Heaven Allows poster. So
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah, that's my poster.
yeah, it was cool to see that, and it feels like there's definitely some Sirk, Douglas Sirk, and Maddie to some degree as well.
In the most kind of brute or blunt, or just, I think, it's like the way Todd Haynes made a movie that was like in conversation with an older Cirque movie. Like, I'm doing that with Kate's Secret. Like a TV movie. Also, he did it with like a great masterpiece, All That Heaven Allows. So there is some of that going on for sure. And I mean, there are actual visual ideas we took from Cirque, but like, the reason why I even slightly bristle at it is because I'm just like, please, let's talk about me being conversation in Cirque when I've had a little more time. Like when we're not, every single scene of this movie was like we were at gunpoint. Like, it was like every scene was so And so many of our kind of visual ambitions just immediately fell away, and we had to be really, and I think that's what gives it, of course, its kind of unique style and its charm and its like ingenuity. But sometimes people bring it up in interviews, and I'm like, you guys, I don't think I'm doing anything close to what Douglas Sirk is doing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is a women's picture.
Yeah. If I were to ask you for a moment of uncomplicated happiness, what comes to mind?
Let me think. I would like there are friendships I have that even at this age I can find myself in a sort of blissed out, almost like golden retriever, stoner kind of mood for a long time. And it's usually around food.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's usually about like being in pursuit of some food. Like the dynamic is, or like the day is structured around like, well, what are we gonna cook?
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is, I promise you, I'm not trying to bring this back to the movie. I promise you.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel great freedom in this interview for not having to talk so directly about it. But cooking that is like the most excited and happy I get in a very uncomplicated way is when it's like you're with a friend or two, but ideally just one friend, and it's like we're gonna cook this like sort of elaborate thing, not fussy, just like there's a lot of chopping, it's slow cooking, it's gonna be on the stove for hours, we're gonna have to be checking up on it. We can maybe drink some wine as we're doing it, may listen to, okay, recently, do people give shorter answers than this?
This is perfect.
It varies. Okay. I'm perfect. I was perfect. That was Black Swan. But when I visited Claudio Doherty in Australia
Mm-hmm.
for a few weeks, like during the strike, and I finally got to like hang out with her family in Australia, and I found an Airbnb that was like on the same block as her childhood home. And we just got in this zone where we just would like cook for her family.
That's so nice.
And like every day we'd like go shopping, and then we'd make some sort of meal for them at night, and we would get stoned, and we would listen to the Immaculate Collection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was just like heaven on earth. And that is like, I think like getting stoned and cooking and listening to Madonna is probably my favorite thing in the entire world.
That sounds great.
Yeah. There are moments of complication, but they're just about like the timing of the food. They're not like deeply personal.
Do you need to be the chef and have your friend be the sous chef, or is it sort of like a partnership of equals?
When Claudia and I are cooking, Claudia's the chef.
Okay.
And I'm the sous. I actually don't care. I'm verse in this way.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I sometimes I like to be the chef, sometimes I like to be the sous.
That's admirable.
Yeah, thank you.
If you could have a new skill suddenly, like you're magically amazing at something, it doesn't have to be something that you could realistically get overnight, but like what skill would you want to magically have that you don't have already?
I really wish I were just handier.
Yeah.
Like I wish that like if something happened, if there was a leak, in my house in LA where we shot the movie, not trying to bring it back, I promise. Like just to give you a visual,
Yes.
the water in the sink tastes kind of floral. There's some sort of strange, like almost like soapy, lavendery quality to it coming out of the filter.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could of course call someone who I would argue for like
Yes.
even that I'm like figuring out who to call is like,
Yeah.
oh no. But like, I dated someone for a long time who could miraculously just do those things, and like I wish that I had that kind of like, well, let's get in there and look at it is kind of like a weird gay thing where I'm like, even though my boyfriend was, you might be shocked to hear this, gay, he was also very handy. Like he grew up with straight brothers. And so like, I don't know, like I maybe have this kind of like problematically kind of like self-feminizing kind of, I don't know how to do that. Like, can you do that thing? I don't know. I wish I could just do fucking things around the house. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not good at that either. I'm always interested to ask people about their dreams. Do you remember your dreams? Is there a recent dream that you remember, or is there a recurring dream that is particularly present for you?
I'll answer both. I have the most recent dream a couple nights ago was a giant tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Was a huge, thick, veiny. I'm kidding.
It's your classic tornado.
Yeah, uncut tornado
Yep.
just kind of coming towards me. It was like, well, it's so funny. It happened 2 nights ago, and like my movie's coming out today, actually, in New York. And I had a dream the night before I left for Toronto, where the movie premiered, that there was a tornado, but it was the most beautiful tornado in the world. It was like completely white in a way that tornadoes are not. But it was like if you took the beautiful white clouds, fluffy white clouds, and turned it into a tornado. It was totally pure crystal white. And I was in the most stunning, like the grass was so green and the sky was so blue and the air was so clean
Mm-hmm.
in this dream. But there was a tornado and it was coming towards me and I was like running as fast as I could, like up a cliff to get away from the tornado. And it was just like a funny, I guess I can't tell you what that means, but it was like, oh, I'm feeling some very intense feelings, I guess, about sharing my movie with the world, about like this high speed train I've put myself on here. And then 2 nights ago, I had this dream about the tornado before my movie came out. That
Wow.
was a much thicker tornado. It was dark and gray and dirty. It was like full of
Mm.
debris. And I was on some sort of like kind of cruise ship with like tacky tourists.
Mm-hmm.
And the
This is like
tornadoes.
Speed and Speed 2. So Speed 2.
Exactly. It's cruise control. Oh my God. So yeah, that was the recent dream. And then my recurring dream that I'm thankfully not, also kind of one about self-exposure, a fear of self-exposure, but is I always have, actually I haven't had this in a while, which I think is very beautiful. But I for years would have a dream where I was like usually in some sort of math class, like an algebra class, suddenly back in high school, and I would find myself, this is really vile, but like going to the bathroom, not number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna fill in the blanks, but I'm just saying it's not pee. I would find myself going to the bathroom, like on a toilet, but there's no stall around me, and then I don't even realize I'm doing it until people who are in this math class with me are turning around going, "What the fuck are you doing, John?" And I'd be like, "Oh my," it's like kind of waking up to reality that I'm shitting. Now I've said it
Yeah.
in front of people in a math class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like obviously some sort of just kind of like shame,
Mm-hmm.
just vague ambient shame that I have that like will just kind of pop up in my dreams all the time. It's crazy. It doesn't feel very deep. It feels just kind of like just whatever that running kind of thing is in the brain. It's like you're fucking, you disgusting
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
motherfucker.
Of course, that's reminding me of the fact that you were the first man, the first gay man to take a shit in a sitcom in Would It Kill You Too?
I forgot. I completely forgot about that. I really have to rewatch What It Kill You to Laugh.
It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very good. Yeah. So when was the first time that you had that recurring dream?
I mean, I can't tell you. It's been years. It's like the actor's nightmare or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's that common, that dream.
What's something that you've inherited from your parents that could be a good thing, could be a trait, or something that is very specific?
My parents are they're incredibly encouraging of other people. Like anytime they meet like a friend of mine, they're like, well, if you're in Nashville, come have dinner with us. And
Mm-hmm.
like it's very sweet. And sometimes people have actually followed up on that. Like
Mm-hmm.
every once, they say it, I'm like, you guys, like it's not gonna happen. And then sometimes they'll shock me and it happens. People actually feel compelled to, and then they have like a great time and it's very, very sweet. And I hear from both parties how like lovely it was. And I'm like, well, they really did mean it. I think this is a skill that I've inherited from them, like that it was very, very helpful with directing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess even just if we're looking at the actors, I feel like it wasn't hard for me to be like totally charmed by the actors I had cast and to try to like frame what makes them kind of beautiful. I'm very proud of like the quality of my movie where I feel like everyone's eyes are really like round and wet
Yeah.
and like every character, even the kind of meanest ones, have moments of like real childlike vulnerability. And to me that feels, it's like my parents meet people and they're like, we loved her, I loved her.
Mhm.
They really do love people, I don't know, and they're very good at like very quickly kind of locating the kind of the special little quality in someone that makes them special, and and
Yeah.
the special little quality that makes them special. And I'm not saying I have that to the same degree, but it is something that comes in handy in directing.
When was the last time you had an epiphany?
Hmm. I mean, I kind of almost don't trust epiphanies or don't necessarily even believe in them, but I have had a couple moments in my life of like, oh my God, like sudden clarity. I read a book called Isa's Ballad, book by Magda Szabo, who wrote The Door,
Mhm.
that just totally, I don't know what it was, it just totally changed my life. But there was, I can't really say what the epiphany was, but I had just some real clarity about.
Mhm.
So yeah, you said when.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
and I answered your question.
We've pinpointed it. We have pinpointed when it was.
It was when I was reading that book.
Yep. Excellent. What's the scariest thing that you've ever done?
I mean, the scariest things for me are always like the personal, like having a breakup conversation, like that to me is the worst thing in the entire world.
Mhm.
It's utter hell. Yeah. It's probably just that, but yeah.
That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I figured on your opening day, on this moment of triumph and celebration, I think it's okay for me to ask you, can you think of a time when you almost gave up?
Hmm. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, not to be so Maddie, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, I do have a kind of forward motion thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am a kind of like, for better or worse, I am like, let's keep going. Like, everyone, like, get in the van. Come on. I'm trying to think. I can't at the moment. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe that's the lesson. Just don't
Don't give up.
don't entertain that as an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for taking the time. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you and visit and revisit so much of your work and then get to explore it with you in this conversation. So thank you.
Thank you. This calmed my nervous system. I feel ready to do 600 Q&As.
Thanks so much to John Early for talking with me, and thanks to you for listening. Maddie's Secret is in theaters now and is one of my favorite films of the year, so go see it. John Early Now More Than Ever and Would It Kill You to Laugh, starring Kate Berlant and John Early, are both available to stream and are really good too. This episode was produced by Myron Kaplan, and the theme music is by The Range. Nobody's Ever Asked Me That now has a Substack, so head to nobody'sever-asked-me-that.substack.com to check out all of our past episodes. Plus, subscribe to get access to exclusive audio and video content. Next week on Nobody's Ever Asked Me That, my guest is writer, director, actor, and memoirist Desiree Akhavan.
I've had a lot of time alone over the past couple of years, and it's given me the space to examine like what the life I want is. Because I think every choice I had made up until a couple of years ago was a trauma response to my upbringing. And in the past 2 years, I've had a lot of space to kind of sit still and stop chasing validation, which is something I've been doing for a really long time, and sort of figure out like, okay, what are my values? What do I want to do while I'm here? And what could joy look like outside of validation?
That's next week on Nobody's Ever Asked Me That.